welcome back to Ascension TV Online. I'm Caroline Mary, I'm your host, and today I have my beautiful friend Rebecca Moore, who is an amazing life coach. She does belief coding, which is an extremely powerful technique of healing, really deep healing, and she does Ho'oponopono meditations, which we're going to have a taste of later today. And she's a friend that comes to wellbeing fairs that I run here in Mid Wales, and she is now helping me feel sane, actually. You're really helping me stay steady because it is quite a lot of work to get them off the ground. So, Becki, really welcome. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's great to have you with us. So, how about you tell our viewers what you do in the world, why you do it, and why you do it?
Well, gosh, that's such a big question, really. So, what do I do in the world? Shine light, shine light, love, all of that stuff. But how do I make that work for me? So, I started off really being childminder, and over the years, what was being brought to me were all the ones in emotional trouble, the ones that were in emotional special needs, and time again, this happened to me. And I ended up qualifying with the first distinction that they'd had in 15 years. So, yeah, that was a big coup to me. Um, I got headhunted for Romania, but didn't end up doing it. I went out to Australia first. And out there, I ended up getting all the jobs that I applied for, which really annoyed some people, but I just loved it. I shone in it. I'm
Mm.
not kidding. I just couldn't see a bad side to what I did. But anyway, I ended up working with social services and or alongside social services. And again, it blew my mind with what I did. And from there, I went to work in Romania. So I took up the position eventually. So I went back to Romania.
Wow.
And then that kind of ruined me with kids because by then I had my own child. And I mean, I was using my spiritual practices without even knowing I was using them at that
Mm,
point. So
mm,
that's why it's relevant. And then in hairdressing, so then I retrained to hairdressing. So I was like, what else can I do? I come from a very conventional family, vicar's daughter, stepdaughter. Yeah, everything's about university and all ticking all the right boxes. So for me, it was like, what can I do? So I went along and did hairdressing, not essentially my passion until the day I realized that what I'm doing is helping people. And all
mm.
of a sudden, in my chair, the people that were ending up there were the people that had come out of chemotherapy and were kind of going, "What is this? This isn't what I went in with. What do I do with this?" And then while I'd be helping them with that, all of the emotions would unlock. You know,
Mm.
it was just such a big experience for me. And I kept thinking, and everyone's looking at me going, "I'm so glad you got them and not me. I wouldn't know what to say." And I
Sure.
don't know how I knew what to say, but in the background, I'm also kind of healing myself because I've been through a lot of stuff myself, which I'm not going to go into here, but a lot of stuff. So, I mean, I was learning things like EFT, which is tapping. I was
Yeah.
learning meditations, Ho'oponopono, all of these things. And I would get a client seated in my hairdressing seat for 15 quid or thereabouts and be giving them all these healing practices using all my energy. I would come out like a tumbleweed and my God, what?
Yeah.
And then, so in latter years, since the menopause, so I have reached the wise woman phase of my life. And
Great.
now it's about embracing that. So first of all, I've got to
Yeah.
get over the grief of not being the woman that I was
Yeah.
and stepping into the woman that I'm going to be,
Yeah.
which gives me special powers too. But now I'm reversing, turning that around. It's not reversing. I do the odd haircut, but usually when I'm doing like my coaching, I don't essentially like the word coaching, even though that is what I
Sorry.
call
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Haven't settled on the word. I think
Yeah,
it
I
might be,
know what you mean because it's so
is-
much more, isn't it? Because
isn't it?
let's face it, with coaching, you have strategic coaching where you're SWOT analysis and you're doing really full on business stuff. But what we do is, but I call it, it's like quantum age shamanism.
Yes.
Your
Yeah,
soul midwifing, aren't you? And like
absolutely.
you, I know will be using healing. I use healing. 90% of it is healing. I'll ask
Yeah,
questions, but when you've healed, the answers come out rather than thinking, which is very patriarchal, masculine energy, isn't it? So
absolutely.
I really get you there,
Absolutely.
Becky. Yeah.
So, so yeah, that kind of it's changed my whole perception of everything. Is
Yeah.
to go right. Okay, I need to make a business out of this. Vicar background, right? So, is it okay to charge for spirituality? There's a lot of things that I've had to go through
Yeah.
just on a paperwork level, let alone all the losing of people and losing of situations and all of that stuff, particularly intense over the last 4 years for me.
Yeah.
But it's all been about learning to help people. So then, yeah, stepping into the belief coding, big passion. So that is a lot of techniques all rolled into one, packs a
Yeah.
power punch of
It's amazing.
cosmic boom. I don't know how else to describe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it works. I mean, Caroline, you've had some. What did it feel like for you?
It's amazing, and in a sense, I will say it's really similar to what I do, but it's very formalized. So with me, I'll listen to somebody go, right, where is it in your body, and let's just do some healing. Jump straight in. That's how I was taught. Weave in with belief coding. It's very structured, isn't it? So it's like a let's unpick. Let's look at all the beliefs you're holding around a certain subject. Let's look at the opposite of it. Like, what would you like to install, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
what's, I don't feel good about myself. I love myself. Da 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 da. Da. We did one about writing, didn't we? And hey, I've published the
Yes.
book. And I tell you
Yes.
what, it's I hadn't thought about until we're having this conversation. Like at the minute, I've got 3 books that I'm playing with,
Yeah.
and they're all in different states of being, but I pretty much feel like they'll be all out by the end of the year. And I'm realizing that writing and really, which is obviously conveying some wisdom, is
Mm,
something that I need to do because it's me being able to share, which is part of why Ascension TV is very valid, is part of me healing that I'm allowed to believe and say and share what I believe. Whereas, like you, I had a very conventional upbringing, my mum was a teacher, and it's like, don't be weird, basically. Like, that's just weird and awkward. And obviously, I've got a section.
mm,
So, you know, that's the point. One a session with belief coding or anything similar, but belief coding is so to the point and so deep, you will literally shift your life on a quantum level. So you're not even thinking a problem, it's just gone. It's just any of that
yeah.
block is gone. And I always work on the principle that we're in this life, but we have multiple other lives that we've lived. Some people say they're all happening at the same time. Some people that's too much to think about. But whatever, however way you look at it, I do believe that our current manifestation is the conglomeration of multiple lives all playing through. So the filter that we move through can either help or hinder. And with belief coding, you're healing it. I mean, we went into a past life. We've retrieved one of the things we retrieved was a part of my soul from the south. And I think I was dead on the battlefield and I hated myself.
Yeah.
And that for me even made me realize, oh, I grew up. One thing I wanted to do was be a nun potentially or a vicar because I wanted to do spiritual work, and that was the only way that looked relevant, possible in the West as
Mm,
what when I was a kid. But also join the army, and that because it's a very contained life. And obviously, I'd been a general or something, and caused a lot of death. So part of my soul was stuck on the battlefield in south of England. Now, I don't often go to the south of England. So for me, the penny drop was, among everything else, was, oh, maybe I had a resistance because that would have brought up that part of me. It feels very home. I know I was born in London and I feel very at home in the the home counties, but actually part of my soul was there and it was bad. So, it's so deep. And that's why I love it. Absolutely love it, Becki.
this as well. And I think the thing that I quite like with the belief coding, it's a bit hard for people to get their heads around. It's not even always about, it's mostly about the trapped emotion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So if you are somebody who believes in past lives, so this is kind of just to reassure anybody, if you're somebody who has that belief, your subconscious will let anything arise where that emotion got trapped, which
mm,
could be a past life. You could have been carrying this for millennia. You could have been
mm,
carrying this since the beginning of time.
mm,
But if you're not somebody who has that belief, that
mm.
won't come up for you.
Sure, it
So
still
nobody has
won't.
to
I'll just work
worry.
with,
It
yeah,
still
true.
works. And it might be that it's just that you don't believe it. That's all that is, you know?
Yeah,
And so it's all about it's just about healing that trapped emotion. And where did that little bubble get stuck? If you think about it like a burp that's going to come up and
yeah,
it's stuck, that little bubble is that emotion, and all you're doing is just letting it rise. And yeah, it
yeah,
might be a little bit uncomfortable along the way. And oh my God, that's actually feeling really uncomfortable. And out it comes. Oh, I feel better now.
yeah.
It's like that.
It really is,
Yeah.
isn't it? I love that, Becky. And in my book. When I wrote the book in 2017, I'd not never read a book on trauma healing. I just had the senses, I always had these knowings. And one of the things that came up is the thoughts are the fumes of our feelings. Now I have seen so many people saying that. So often we're trying to battle our thoughts, but like you said, if we have a situation, say I died on the battlefield, I was bleeding out, and I realized, oh my God, I realized that I killed all these people. We will think a lot of stuff because there's a feeling in that moment, which we can call a trauma, where we have guilt, shame, loss, self-hate. You know, really it's the guilt and the shame, right? They're massive ones, right? This remorse feeling. But then when that's trapped, we start building all the beliefs like I'm a bad soul. And I've definitely had this. You've heard me say, I'm a bad person. I've got to make up for it. I don't deserve anything. I need to serve everyone. You'll start creating all this other stuff because you've got this feeling. Once you heal the feeling, the whole, how I see it as well, it's like a part of us is freeze framed, isn't it? And you're like, I can't feel the feeling, it's too much. But actually you have to be, oh, I'm feeling the feeling. And suddenly your soul basically lets go of that timeline, and that whole imprint, that whole part of your stuck energy comes back to you. And again, you don't have to think about it in past life terms. You can think of it in school, something horrible happens and you can't cognitize it. So that part of there's a finite part of your soul energy gets stuck, and
Yeah,
that's what PTSD is, right? And then bit by bit you're going
absolutely.
to keep hitting up against the wall until you dig in, which is why, I mean, we could talk all day and more,
Yeah,
right, about
yeah,
this subject, because I think it is so important, and people underestimate how many little tiny, like you said, bubbles of
yeah,
consciousness stuck because of some big T or small t, that it still can have
yeah,
almost the same effect. If you've got one thing, it's like a pea under the mattress, isn't it? So,
absolutely. And
oh,
the
I'm just
power of
thinking, can I
thought
have
is
my
just so,
session food? Oh,
yeah,
yummy.
of course you can. So my other passion as well, really, at the moment is the breath work,
Right,
because that
yes,
is, so you haven't done the breath work, but it may or may not be your thing. But what I'm actually loving about it is that it's very direct. Now, I'm a
sure.
Taurus. I'm quite into my Taurus thing. I'm also human design. I'm pure generator. So it's like a response. So breathwork for me
Right.
is just, it's fantastic. But so much so that from my very first session, I was like, right, I've got to learn this. I've got to learn this. Um, I come out of them um, giving them as high as a kite, if you like, because I get such a buzz out of it. I do from the belief coding as well, but
Sure.
that is slightly more of a grind, and it's
It's a
in a good
work,
way.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
it's got
But with the breath work, it's so we would be collecting your negatives and going, right, so what is it? So first I would have a title. What is it you're struggling with? So at the moment, I'm working with a lot of women who are struggling with visibility
yeah.
in their businesses, right? So the way this works is I don't have to go into 10 people's stories about why they're scared of being visible.
Okay.
Okay. It's just like, what are you scared of? Well, I'm scared somebody's going to judge me. I'm scared I'm going to get shouted at. I'm scared that I'm going to get blocked. I'm scared I'm going to. Okay, brilliant. And when you speak up, you'll often be speaking for another person. So it's
Sure.
like that,
Yeah, yeah,
that popcorn effect, right? So then I'll ask you, what is it you want to feel? Well, I want to just be able to do it without worrying. I want to
yeah,
just do it and not be bothered. I want to do it. And if somebody blocks me, well, that says more about them. So you'll tell me all the positives. In the background, I will already have weaved a talk down together, a song list. So I feel like a DJ. You'll get this from doing your dance. So you feel like the best DJ in the world. And then I will have also written a poem and a meditation for afterwards.
wow.
And I select particular tracks that pertain to what it is you want to gain from it.
Right.
Um, and then you literally lie down, do the conscious connected breathing, which I'm guiding you through every step of the way. I don't leave you on your own for a
Yeah.
minute. So I'm guiding you through this particular style of breath. And then I feed you your negatives. And then we have a breath hold. And then I feed you your positives. Then we have a breath hold. So it's all about getting that carbon dioxide, releasing all of that emotion from every cell in your body. We have an expression, and then when you're floating off into the hemisphere or whatever it is you're doing for you, For me, I tend to go into the third eye violet dimension every time. It's just phenomenal. Meet my dragon, she's there. But that's
Beautiful.
me. Doesn't happen to everybody, but that's me.
Sure. Yeah, no.
And after that, my God, you have shifted stuff without even having to have stepped into the story. And so often I'll get after, I said this, this, and this, but there was somebody else's words that resonated with me more
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
was
yeah,
in there,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
It's
So we're all
such a thing of group
speaking.
work, isn't it? Like I've got to
Mm,
say, I love one-to-one work because it's
yeah.
deep, it's profound. People,
Oh,
we
it's
all need
how that's
hearing.
different.
It's
Yeah.
different, but I got
Yeah.
to say, I am really looking forward to having finished, this body of work in the books. I'm so looking forward to doing my group coaching elements
Yeah.
because there's just such a power in that because there's no shame. You know what I mean? It's like what is it
Yeah.
where there's love, there's no shame can't live. So as soon as you bring it up in
Yeah.
that held container, it just starts dissolving, doesn't it? You're like, oh, well, what was
Absolutely.
the problem anyway? It doesn't matter, you
And it's
just
a
it's
beautiful, beautiful
goes.
thing. I want
Yeah.
to ask you too, did you ever find that when you stepped into, and I think I know the answer to this, but when you stepped into spirituality, when you actually embraced that, did you lose people from before? Did your life change? I've had
Oh
to
my God,
refind
yeah.
my tribe. Yeah. So
Oh my
this is a
God.
really common thing, right? So for me, this is why groups are so special and important because it's bringing our tribe back to us. Okay, we might be teaching and leading, but my God, they teach us too.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and for
Yeah.
me, it's given me friendships. It's given me deep, deep friendships
Connections.
that I mean, you're one of them actually,
Yeah, yeah.
and Shell and I have got really close. Now we're going to have sister circles in 100
Yes.
House.
Yeah.
They're not ordinary sister circles. These are going to be sister circles where we can share our knowledge,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
None of them are ordinary. Don't get me wrong. It's not that kind of thing, but I want one of the things that's very important to me is to be able to open that floor and go, well, what can you show us?
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
isn't just about the two of us.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely.
We need connection
Yeah.
for and compassion for each other. And
Yeah.
do you think the year of the fire horse is about elevating that? I feel like it is for
Yeah,
me.
totally. It's firing up, isn't it? Like I just did a meditation last night from Ben, my the co-author that we're doing the ASD and ADHD book with. And his was it's the year of the phoenix. It's a very phoenix energy. It's like we let go with the snake and now is the time for coming up. And you're so right, Becky, because what I feel like I'm finally writing things that I've had, well, I'm working on things that I've had like sat on my computer, and I was very much like, oh, I need to get one-to-one clients, because I was scared of these other things. And now what's happening is, no, I know always had this bigger goal to like share what I believe the spiritual stuff in mental health, but I was too scared to actually do that work. And it's almost crystallizing, get to get just zoom straight, not like straight to the point, but it's like getting more clear on actually what if I died tomorrow, what would I have wanted to do? Not what I think I should do, because I am a practitioner and I can do, and I'll always do one-to-ones, I'm sure, but it's not the biggest aim that I've had. There is this bigger aim, and if I don't do it, what am I waiting for? It's really made me shift. But always what comes up for me is I am still left with parts of my inner child, younger self, fear self, whatever, that because I was awake so young, if you like, I just so rubbed so many people up and said weird things that they didn't understand, that I still have a part of me that's really quite agoraphobic, and part of me just like find it like I don't really, you can have my book and I'll hold space for you, but I'm not going to just be me and hang out, because there's so much, there's a learned part in me just going, it's not, people don't like me, people find me weird, so I'm just going to be on my own over here. And you're really right, Becky. We still need community. So there's a lot happening for me where I'm shifting that narrative of, wow, I've been living like this, so I can avoid that stuff. So obviously it's the healer heal thyself stuff. So you're so right about the groups, you know. Like I absolutely, I love being in women's groups, but there's a part of me that's been cautious. Unless I'm running it, which gives you a role, it's a different thing, it gives you a purpose. But if it was me, little me, it's like, oh no way. That, you know, people aren't
Yeah.
safe, women aren't safe, friends aren't safe. And obviously that's not true. It's just because I was a little bit cosmic from the get-go, I would just, people would roll their eyes and just be like, oh, you're weird. And now weird is cool, right? Spiritual awakening is the
And
new
has
slang.
it not been going on for millennia?
Well,
Again, that
yeah,
word
true.
because witch wound,
Yeah, it is. Yeah, very much, very
you
much.
know?
And yeah, and I know from living where I live, and we've talked about this, you know, I've seen lives where I was killed here, you know, and people that I know
Mm.
in this life were turning their back on me because I was the scapegoat. So there is definitely multiple layers still running in my system. And this is the thing, you know, if you're watching any of this resonating, it's not a failing. It, you know, I firmly believe that a lot of us have come in to go, right, we're just gonna take on as much karma that possible. Knowing, you
Yeah.
know, what I just received then is that because we will have known on some level that this era is the time where the tools will be accessible, it will be easier to talk about it. So if we cut back to a generation more before, all of this women's wisdom was very, you know, repressed. There wasn't the healing, there wasn't the techniques, there wasn't the time. People didn't have the time, you know, because we have a washing machine that saves us 3 hours of what, you know, the hand washing or whatever. We've got more time, which, yeah, but you can say it's like white class, middle class luxury, but it's, there's a reason. We're then therefore given the space that we can start healing all the timelines. And you know, again, if you don't believe in past lives, you can still say that every aspect in this life will be mirroring something that isn't healed in another life. So for me, being sectioned was a mirror of being persecuted in other lives. You know, it's like I felt like I was being persecuted. They didn't see it like that, but for me, it brought up all of those layers of it's not safe to be me. Now I'm not allowed to be da 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 da. So you know, we are healing multiple layers. All the, you know, this is the path if you choose to take it, and it isn't for everybody, and that's also okay. It's not a judgment, it's not better or worse, it just is what it is, isn't it? Which is like, yeah, yeah, bring on all the lessons, I'll take it, I'll do it, I'll do it. So but that's all right, isn't it? It's good,
It
it's
is all right.
and
It is all right.
thank goodness for
Amazing.
conversations like this, because it actually, I feel sane, you know, in these conversations I
I
feel
love it
sane.
too. I love it. And
um
more of my world contains these conversations
exactly.
instead of me having to be careful.
Bolt it on.
And
Yeah,
and
it
now I
needs.
become less and less careful because more and more of my connections are people
Yeah,
like you or
yeah.
other people that are on, well, I say the path because we're all on a bloody path, aren't we?
Yeah,
All
but
of us on a path,
consciously understanding
but
the healing journey,
consciously
shall I
on a
say.
similar path. Yeah.
Yeah. Because it's funny, isn't it? Because in a sense, you have the spiritual journey, but you also have the healing journey. And I would almost say, in a sense of, you have like, you'll know, being Vicar's daughter, you know, there's like, oh, I'm okay and I go to church and this is my life. And you can go, okay, there's a quite you could say what I might have called a narrow bandwidth of reality that someone's accessing. But for that person, that's just it. That's fine. That's who they are. They're stabilizing the field in their own way. For some of us, we have the spiritual interest, the religious interest. You know, I was always looking like, where's my path? Thinking I need to find a
Mm.
religion and that I would follow. And it was like, no, because I could feel I resonate to all of them because I've lived in those lives. So it's not, it's beyond that. It's the path of the shaman or the initiate or the devotee, if you like, to walk your own path. Now you lose the structure of a religion. You're just like, okay, all of it, but none of it. Take the wisdom, leave the rest, kind of thing, and liberate in the soul to into authenticity and all of that stuff. Whereas I go, so actually, it becomes a slightly different path because every you almost feel like there's a paradox for every this, there's a this, and you have to live in that kind of non-dual duality. But a lot of it is ends up becoming a healing path then, doesn't it? Because every
Yeah.
you're hitting initiations and you know you're going through those gates constantly, and that is why tools like Ho'oponopono and da 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 da, they're all healing. They're all really helping us heal, integrate, come
Mm.
back into sovereignty. So can you just tell us, we're going to go into the Ho'oponopono meditation soon. Can you tell us how that works for anybody that hasn't heard of it, and
Yeah.
a little bit
So
about it?
So basically, Ho'oponopono is the art of being right from the inside. And it's the reason we have it twice. So it's opono, pono. So it's twice, which means double right. Yeah. And double right means right from the inside and right from the outside. Okay.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
interesting, isn't it? So the meditation that I do, which is just this is just a little sidebar, but we always say we're 200% all right with the world. And I was like one day saying, why is it 200%? They're going, well, 100% on the inside, 100% on the outside. So
Nice.
without even knowing it, they're duplicating this ancient knowledge from Hawaii.
Right.
Okay. And they, at that point, they do know it now, but back then they did not.
When you
So I,
say they, who was saying the
this is
two?
the Ascension meditation
Oh,
mode.
the
Yeah.
meditation. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So 200%,
Interesting.
right on the inside, right on the outside. And when I began to do the Ho'oponopono, which is not connected,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I've
but
got
it
you.
is. It
But it
is.
is because yeah, because of coming
Yeah,
out of you.
it's this idea of being double right. So right on the inside, right on the outside. So initially, I mean, it is ancient. So before kind of white man came along and swept it all off the Hawaiian Islands and said our way's better, which it's not, but that's me.
Okay.
They would have this thing that if somebody had messed up in the tribe, their hunas, the people who are the shamans, the big
Wise.
wigs, if you like,
Okay.
wise women, wise men, usually women, would do Ho'oponopono with the two people that had fallen out. So
Right.
yeah, so what would happen is that you don't have the argument, but you keep saying to each other, and they guard and witness this, and you're not allowed out of this, whatever this is, a cave or whatever it is, until they resolve that the energy has been resolved, and the Huna tells you, but you do this, I'm sorry I did this thing, or I'm sorry I reacted. Please forgive me for reacting. Please forgive me for doing, or whatever that thing is. I love you. I thank you. And you do that until the energy has spiraled into an area. Now, it is said that the Hunas see a color. I couldn't tell you because this is such ancient knowledge. I don't know.
Eight.
There have been teachers of Ho'oponopono that there's a very integrated system, and I have learned some of it, but I have gone with at the moment what my qualification is the it's not lesser because it's just as big, but so much of this work has been done that we can now have four simple phrases instead of the great big stuff that you would have to learn, which I have learned, but right off the top of my head now on the spot, I can't remember what it all is.
Yeah.
But the
Okay.
four phrases that we need to know is simply, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, I thank you. Now, it is said that you don't necessarily have to do that in the same order. Like some people will teach you the order differently. That's the order that I know.
Yeah.
And it just resonates and it sits comfortably in my body. If you have, quite often they do the other way around. So I'm sorry, please forgive me. I love you, I thank you.
Sure.
Whereas I say, I thank you, I love you, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever sits with you
Yeah.
is the way. But it is said that all wars would stop. Everything of any negativity would stop
Sure.
because you you have to take 100% um, responsibility for yourself. Okay, now I struggled with that even though I'm training in this and I'm learning it, and I'm kind of like, yeah, I get it. My mind intellectually gets it. My heart is not going to forgive so and so and so and so for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then one day we had a different teacher because our normal teacher was ill, which was great for me because he spoke in a different way, the same,
Sure.
but I heard it
Yeah.
differently.
Yeah.
And he
Really
said
good.
it's take 100% responsibility for your reaction.
Yeah.
Oh, not their deed, not this thing that I'm really cross about.
Yeah.
It's oh, okay, you've still done your deed.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've kind of gone, do you know what? The filter of my life, my inner child, if you like, or it could have happened at any time, but for
Yeah.
me was
Yeah.
probably like a vicar thing. Oh my God, I don't have to respond this way. I could
Sure.
just go, do you know
Yeah.
what? I'm going to turn you around, off you go, and I'm just going to get on with my life because I'm
Yeah.
really not
Yeah.
bothered.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
just that action alone was
Yeah.
enough to really make me go, that's what being
Yes.
100% responsible is.
Yeah.
is you have an art, because people will say to me now, do excuse me say this, people will say to me, but I was raped. How do you
Yeah.
justify that? And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm not justifying it.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
not,
it's a
because
different
that
thing, isn't
happened.
it?
But you can say, do you know what? You're not winning. You're not taking
Yeah.
over my life.
Yeah. You have the shame and the feeling, and
You have the
you
shame.
were the one that chose that. I don't have to
Yeah,
take it on and let it. Yeah, I
absolutely.
do understand, and it is. I think in the first, if you like, the first steps into the pool of healing, you're never gonna want to. That's not gonna happen. That you're gonna feel
Yeah,
that. It isn't about ignoring what you're feeling and saying you just have to instantly let it go. It's just acknowledging, okay, I can feel and heal all
yeah,
my stuff, and then the situation minimizes in the gravity in your life, isn't it? But it does take work. We're
absolutely.
not saying it doesn't take work, it
Yeah,
is.
it does. And, I think the beauty of the Ho'oponopono is that you don't have to believe it. You don't have to be
Mm.
doing it with any kind of like, right, so I'm doing this with, you don't have to do
It's
it
a
that way. You
process,
can
isn't it?
just do it.
Just do the be with the
Yeah,
process.
just do
Yeah,
it.
I've really got you there, Becky. And can I just
So,
say, so
yeah.
something, because I've trained in it, but very lightly. I did it as part of a course with Joe Vitale. And sometimes when I'm sat with a client that I am finding challenging because I can feel it's triggering something in me, and that you as a space holder, you're obviously not going to be triggered at them, but you still have to be with it. And
Mm,
he was saying in this training was you can say the Ho'oponopono because at some level this person in front of you is actually a part of, it's bringing something to your table. So when you start saying that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm even forgiving myself for the fact that I don't know how to hold space for you, or there's this little weird thing happening inside me rather than just the pure love, which I'd like to and normally would do in a session. So and just that softens the potential energy. But something that came to mind, which I'd love to share about ho so it's funny, isn't it? I've been saying ho'oponopono and it's not, it's ho'oponopono. Yeah, and
yeah,
I
yeah.
just when I was reading your form before the call, I was like, oh yeah, okay. We're learning all the time, right? I'm a bugger for skipping over the details and getting into the
Uh,
meat, right? I read a story that a prison the boss of a prison, I can't think of what he would be called, right? The chief of a prison decided to use Ho'oponopono to the prisoners. So he took
this
all the
is right.
forms.
Right.
You know about this, yeah. It's probably a
Yeah.
common story, but if you don't know, it's just so worth it. And he would basically just say these prayers over the thing, and bit by bit, the prisoners just started relaxing, and it basically like everything just became real chill. And it basically he was healing all the people because he's saying, "I'm sorry that you're suffering. I'm sorry maybe you've never had healing. Forgive me for the judgment and whatever he was saying." And it just softened everything. And wouldn't that, what a practice.
Well, this is why they say it would heal the whole world. So
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
the story that you know is the same one that I know, it's actually even more extensive than that. It's
Okay.
Dr. Hugh Len, and he's the one that reduced this to the 4 sentences. It's who
Right.
Joe Vitale learnt from.
Oh,
And he
okay.
hounded him and hounded him and hounded him and hounded him until he would teach him because he was like, nope, not teaching anyone. Nope, not teaching anyone. And then
Right.
eventually he got him to do it.
Lovely.
And the story is even more than that. He's a psychologist,
Okay.
psychiatrist, sorry,
Right.
or both. But he was taken on in the worst. This is the worst prison in Mexico, I believe. Right.
Right.
So real hardcore
Yeah, I
people.
get shivers about
And
that.
he didn't do any psychology with them.
He
Like they
just
just were
did.
so weirded out by them. He'd go into his office and do the extensive Ho'oponopono. But apparently, what it is, so it's even more. So when you're saying you're doing it within a therapy session, so how the way he looks at it is that you put yourself into their space, and what rises in you is actually what's rising in them. So you heal that,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because it's like, why am I witnessing this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when he was doing that with these people in this prison, the only thing he would really share was that there was only 2 people out of the entire prison that were unaffected. But he managed to get this prison to a point where they were able to cook, be unhandcuffed. Some of them were even able to go out on day release. Now, these are hardcore prisoners that had been put into prison for life. They were never getting out under any
Yeah,
circumstance.
yeah.
And that was never going to happen. But he turned this place into a place where people were terrified to work, and the staff turnover was
Mm,
huge because they would get beaten, potentially raped, potentially all of this stuff. Nobody wanted to leave, and
so
the
they just
prisoners
enjoyed it.
themselves were baking and going, oh, I'd like to learn to meditate. Oh, I think I want to be educated. And
Yeah,
their lives were turning around. Only
changed.
two people out of that whole prison remained unaffected. But his answer to that was, we don't know what they came on this
No,
earth to learn.
no.
Like, it might have been their journey to never recover. That
Yeah.
might have been the
And the
thing.
lesson for everyone else around them to how
Absolutely.
do we handle that? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So I wonder if it's the same thing, but
Yeah,
that
no,
is
I
who we
imagine it
learn
is.
from.
I
Yeah.
can't think where I read it, and I know that one of my challenges, if you like, is to ground, and because I often see, we've Becky studied Moon Key with me last year, and I'm often it's almost like I'm stuck in eagle view, and the grounding, like being in groups, still feels challenging, and sometimes details I don't take in details. I just see the overview and I'm like, yeah, I get it, kind of move on. Because also I understand the similar thing of in my coaching world of where we can process on behalf of the people. So we'll peace process, and often I'll feel in my body, especially if it's a strong emotion that someone's carrying, I'm already starting to feel it, and that they can say they haven't got a feeling in their body, and I'm like, I know you have because it's there. And there's, I know, oh, it's my heart, and I'm like, yeah, I know because I can feel it, and I'll be processing it on behalf of them because the energy is just coming out of them. They're just letting it out, and that's the point, isn't it? When we're in the point of love, compassion, we're doing the work on behalf of the world. We're
Mm.
cleaning essentially, aren't we?
Yeah.
So I guess on that note, unless you have anything else you'd like to say, we could
No, we can do
dive
it.
in. Oh, amazing, Becky. I'm so excited for this. So, if you want to join us for this meditation, this open meditation, I'll get it one day. Please make sure you're sat comfortably. Please do not do this when you're driving. If you need to come back to it, like pause the recording and make yourself a little nest at home. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed, and then you can join in. So, Becky, I'll hand over to you.
Okay. It's only going to be about 10 minutes long, I think.
Yeah.
It might even be slightly less, but we'll go with it.
Okay, see where we
So
go.
I'm just going to put some music on. If you want to settle back. And this music is called In Dreams. Not that that's relevant, but whoever made it might like to know that. Okay. Just start to breathe in gently, in and out. Relaxing down. Breathing in light from 360 degrees. Breathing in light from all around.
Dream your sweet dreams.
Breathing in light from the stars, the moon, the
Released.
planet, light from the very earth
Know
herself.
you are loved.
And breathing out all that no
Rest
longer
in
serves.
peace.
Breathing
Dream
in
your
light
sweet dreams
and breathing out
till the
anything
soul
heavy,
is released.
stuck. Breathing in
And I
light. You
bet
okay?
child
Breathing in light to every
your
cell
heart
in
is
your body.
yours.
So they light up like a
Well, I
billion
bet
tiny suns.
child go
And
out
breathing
and
out
open
all that no
doors
longer
with
serves.
your love.
And from your
With your
tailbone, imagine a thin
faith,
cord of light traveling down,
with your compassion,
down, down through the many
with
layers
your
of the earth,
grace,
down through earth, clay, rock, crystal, water, air, down to the very central crystal of Mother Earth herself. And when you are there, just in your mind, say connect. And that will be your anchor. And that will be your home, just for now. And we ask for the ancestors, the ones who dreamt us into being, whose very strength flows through our bones, to come stand with us and protect us and hold us in their grace and their space.
Beloved child,
And they dreamt us here
you are the
into this
light
space.
of the world. Beloved child,
And so I want you to imagine
go out, spread light
a younger
to the
you, a
world.
younger version, just in front
Be
of you.
strong, be
If
kind,
you can't
be
imagine it, that's
brave.
okay. Just a sense, just a feeling
Know your
is absolutely
mind,
fine.
know that you're divine.
And now this
Know that it's
child, or
alright
this younger
to
version of you,
be afraid.
is a representation
Know
of the
that you
subconscious
are
mind, all those layers that lay beneath,
loved.
all those things that are secret and hidden. And your mind now is the conscious mind, and that is the mother. It's time for the mother to take control. The subconscious mind has been holding this data, storing this information since the beginning of time, keeping you safe, but keeping you safe from things that don't necessarily exist in this timeline and this time frame. And as the mother, ask that child if you may give it a hug, not a bear hug, a gentle hug. You do not want to frighten the child. And always ask for permission. And as you hold that child gently, speak to it the language of love. I'm sorry I didn't come sooner. Please forgive me for allowing you to hold on to all of this. I love you so very, very much. And I thank you for trying to keep me safe.
Rest in peace.
Let your child absorb that
Dream your sweet
and look deep
dreams
into your child's eyes
till your soul
and
is
feel that love that comes between your hearts. Feel that vibration, that color, that sensation. I'm sorry that you have held this for so long. Please forgive me for not coming sooner. But can you see that everything we have ever been through since the beginning of time has brought us to right here, right now, right where we belong? But we don't have to hang on to this for any longer. We can clean this information. We can let it go. And we can step into divinity with Father Time. And now you see that there is a sack that the two of you together can just pop any thoughts or feelings that you're aware of, any complaints, any difficult situations, just pop them into that bag. Just pop them in. You don't have to carry that anymore. The mother is now looking after that child. And that relationship, the strength of that relationship will be the best relationship that you ever have. And now, together, you can take that sack to Father Time however you see that in your mind. But I will say, he is divine light. He is created by divine light. And all of those things in that sack are going for transmutation, liberation, and freedom. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Now, the last part of Ho'oponopono is a box breath, and it's a clearing breath, it's a cleaning breath, it's a cleansing breath. You will be doing this at your own time and at your own pace. I will tell you how it goes, and you will do this. Everybody will have a different speed. So you'll breathe in for 7, hold it for 7, breathe out for 7, hold for 7, and you'll do this 7 times. I find it really helpful to just count it on my fingers as I go. It doesn't matter if it doesn't go easily. It's the first time some of you will be doing it. And then when you're ready, just come back to me. Okay?
Absolutely beautiful, Becky. I'm yawning, which is always a good sign. I had shivers all over. I've been having shivers all over, through our chat, but that was beautiful,
Yeah,
Becky. Thank you so much.
it's very powerful, isn't it?
Really
It's
powerful.
the 7 breaths is something you can take anywhere. So if anybody is having a difficult situation, or they're sitting on a train and they haven't got anything to do and all of that stuff, do the 7 breaths. Do that
Do
because it's
your box breath,
calming.
the
Yeah,
seven
the
breath,
box
yeah,
breath. Yeah, 7
7
times.
times. Yeah, yeah,
That's
it's
it.
really
It
amazing.
calms you down, but it's also very clearing. But if you're on a train, like sometimes I'm on a train and I feel a bit crowded out by people, um, it's a really good one to do on a train because it just relaxes you into that company.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter whether you talk or not, but
yeah,
do you know what I mean? Like we
I
live in
really
a
do.
country, it's
I really
quite spiky to suddenly find yourself around a lot of people,
Sure.
right?
Yeah, it is. And it's
Um,
a lot energetically,
yeah,
we're not just the physical body, we are our energy space. And in a
yeah,
train, everyone's in each other's aura. So you are
absolutely.
literally, unless you're very aware and you bring your aura in, you're merging with everyone around you. And it's like
Yes,
everybody's trigger, everyone's going to be, and it's funny because saying this, I've always berated myself like, oh, I'm so crap, I don't like public transport. And it's not personal to any individual, but it is because there's a lot of energy. People are on their way, or they might be seeing loved ones, or they're nervous for a job, or, there's a lot of energy
a lot of
happening.
stuff going on.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of, yeah, there's a lot of process. So, yeah,
yeah,
really good point with that. This is where also the Violet Flame, I must bring, actually, I'm having Diana Savalon, who's a teacher of the Violet Flame, one of the healing things. So, it's a really good healing device, isn't it, to send in the violet flame and
yeah.
purify. But actually, when we're doing that breath, we will be purifying for the
Oh,
group that we're in.
absolutely. I mean, you
So,
can bring with that
you know,
breath anything you want. You could
yeah,
imagine doing that with the violet flame too.
yeah,
I just want to just apologize. That's not the normal music that I would usually use. I just like to have the music because it scrambles the brain a little bit. So
yeah,
you're,
takes you out.
you know,
Yeah,
that's
you.
all it is. But I would usually use quite a different kind of music.
Oh, it's
So
lovely though.
I was it all right? Because I
Yes,
wasn't quite sure.
absolutely. And you know what was going through my mind? And
Yeah,
I'll be honest, I was seeing my inner child, and I pulled a card the other day and it was like inner child. And I know because as a child, I found it hard in some ways to fit in. And as soon as I could think, I was like, oh my God, I want to save the world. So I was already really having a lot of pressure on myself. So the joyful, kind of innocent, the ego child, if you like, really struggled. And I kind of, it's like, well, don't, you can't be here, and so I'm just going to have to be all the things I think I have to be. And so me connecting with the inner child, it's some, you know, it's really, it's important for all of us, you know, even if you think
Mm.
you had, you know, I definitely know I had a lucky childhood in a lot of respects, but in other respects my inner child, you know, it was a bit like just sit over there and be quiet and don't be too fun or silly, you know. So I could really feel um this connection, and it's the connection I have often with my partner. One or other of us will often cry because we're obviously bringing healing, really deep healing to each other, and this connection we often put our forehead to forehead together. And I was doing that with my inner child, and I've never done that, and that was like, wow, that was, yeah, it's
Oh, that's
amazing.
interesting.
Really.
Yeah.
The other thing was coming up is I was listening to music, and I know I would like to be playing music as well. Um, again, because you know I am a musician, and I was listening to music with an ear going, "That's a nice," because you know we grow up thinking this is what
Well, it was
music's
meant for
like,
you then.
or this is what music's like, and I was like, "That's quite." It was very spacious, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't like
Yeah.
the typical "here's your verse, here's your
Yeah.
chorus."
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
it was very spacious, and it's, yeah, so interesting,
Ah,
Becki. Thank you
love it.
so much. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Oh, so beautiful, viewers. I hope you enjoyed that. If you want to get hold of either of us and share your experience or share it, please do write your you know, in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. If you want to get hold of Becki and follow her or find out more about how you can work with her, have a look in the comments, because I will pop all the details there, all the things that you need to know so you can get hold of Becki. And Becki, one last question. Out of all of what you've shared and anything else that you learn and you know you've learned and know about, what would be one thing that you would encourage people to take on or try, or something, word of wisdom that you would love to offer to people?
I think it would really be. So I'm big on meditation, but if you'd have told me about meditation, I'd have run a mile initially.
Yeah.
Yeah. But find something that brings you to that state. So it could be 10 minutes of gratitude, walking. It could be 10 minutes walking and going, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Mm.
It's just something for you. It could be that 7 box breath breathing, just something. You can build it up from there, but something every single day where actually what you're doing, whether you are aware of it or not, is connecting to source.
I was going to say it's an important thing, because I think a lot of people don't necessarily know why you meditate. Why you would you meditate? You know, why everyone's
Mm,
talking about it, but what is it? And obviously, they're like just doing that box breath. So you're breathing in, pause for 7, breathing out for 7, like that.
mm,
You are resetting your nervous system. You're not letting the stories go. You're just unplugging. You're stepping back. It's not trying to not have the stories, but you're focusing on something so clearly that the whole nervous system comes down.
mm,
It's like a
mm.
reset, you know, and a lot of us,
Yeah.
I'm a bugger for it. I'll watch something and I'll be like, oh, I'll play my game as well. Because this is a massive coping mechanism from a child. I just wanted to completely withdraw, but I didn't do it in a way that was meditating. It was just, let's just be somewhere that isn't in the outside world, but you're essentially drawn within. Where's the kingdom of heaven? Within, isn't it? So for
Yeah.
me, you're just reminding me, you know, for years I've done yoga every morning, and now I may not do an hour, but I certainly will do. I light my incense, my candle, I put on
Mm,
some lovely, you know, Indian-y music, and I will stretch or do 2 asanas even, or do my breathing. And I, you know, it's just that thing of resetting, aligning, remembering who you really are on a deeper
mm.
level, isn't it? So yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you, Becki.
Absolutely.
So
So yeah.
important, so lovely. Oh, amazing. Becki, we could keep talking, but we've both got other things to do today. So I'm going to say thank you so much, and please come on again and let's talk. You know, let's another something. You know,
Yeah, I'd love to.
yeah, it's been lovely. And as always, with all my guests, we could talk and talk about all the different parts of our journey, because often so many people, so many practitioners, once you feel the benefit of something, you want to share it. Of course you do. That's, you know, I've
Mm,
done people's heads in, like, I know, because I'm like, oh my God, everyone should do yoga, oh, whatever. But you know, it's going to land somewhere, isn't it? And the reason is because we feel good from doing these practices. It's not just to sell our
yes.
business. It's not like that. It's just like, oh my God, this makes you feel good. Go do this thing, isn't it? So yeah, it's such a lovely offering. Thank you again, Becki.
You're
And
So welcome.
thanks for joining us. Thank you so very much. And we start a new month, and we've got some beautiful guests coming up next month. We've got Diana Saville. We were talking about Violet Flame and her journeys, and I can't remember the rest. I've had a bit of a floaty week this week because I've been on a moon set at time. So keep an eye out. If you're friends with me on Facebook, then I will pop up a post to tell you what's coming up. But if not, you can look through the other episodes until the next one is out. Thank you so much, and we'll see you again on Ascension TV Online. Bye for now.